I've read an article that's called Bolton's We Are Creative, Partnering with Pro Hockey League. And I found it on caledonenterprise.com, and it was written by Matthew Strader on February 28th, 2019. Essentially, this article is about a marketing agency called We Are Creative that has a division called Sports Marketing All-Star. And the president, Steve Conforti, through this division, recently developed a partnership with the Canadian Women's Hockey League Players Association so that they could help build a brand for the group and for the players. And this association is made up of volunteers who are responsible for representing the 5 North American Women Hockey Leagues, teams, rather. And they have been working together and building a relationship to develop a strategy to be partners. And the partnership aims to use every tool for building a brand and for the association and the players. It will give the players a resource for logo design, web development, print and apparel, social media, event planning to build their personal brands. And my editorial on this particular article is that I believe that the partnership will be a good idea, because I believe that the Canadian Women's Hockey League is an undervalued sport in terms of corporate partners and sponsors. They're responsible, or sorry, there are sponsors for the teams already, but none have taken the same responsibility to build the players' brands until Sports Marketing All-Stars. And the majority of the brands associated provide little in terms of support for the teams and building awareness overall. And this partnership will give the Canadian Women's Hockey League Players Association a chance to develop a long-term relationship and develop strong brand equity with their fans. Sports Marketing All-Stars has already been seen an increase in awareness because, like the caledonenterprise.com is writing an article on them, so that already that there is some awareness going on in multiple directions. And I believe that for small to mid-sized companies, that this would be an excellent opportunity to start an investment to get into a partnership and sponsorships, because the cost will be a little lower and the benefits are going to be increasing. It'll be definitely a long-term gain, especially through any marketing activities or events that that any of these agencies will have to interact with the fan base as they continue to grow. As hand in hand as these corporate sponsors grow and increase, you can expect to see the fan involvement increase and future sponsorships. But so what? What's the impact? What's the point of what I'm saying, right? The partnership will be a good idea, as I mentioned, and it's because of an increase in attention to women's sports overall. It's a part of a global thing. On February 27th, actually, in 2019, just a day before, Sports Pro Media said in an article, even mainstream fan communities such as Sport Bible are starting to pay more attention to the accomplishments of women and seeing high levels of engagement from followers. That's sportsmedia.com, or sportspromedia.com rather. The interesting part to focus on would be the engagement from followers. As mentioned, it's definitely demonstrating a deeper level of commitment and involvement from fans in support of women's sports as a trend. So it's continuously going to rise and grow rather than just like a fad where it's going to crash. And a partnership like this, such as the Sports Marketing All-Stars and the Canadian Women's Hockey League Players Association, would prove to be a major shift in women's sports growth. As the risks of the costs are starting to diminish and the benefits are starting to increase, it's starting to outweigh the cost. Because of the increase of the Canadian Women's Hockey League, or the increased awareness, rather, of the Canadian Women's Hockey League, companies will see more of a need to sponsor for the same reason, for that same reason, for the increase of awareness, right, as one major crux. But players now have the opportunity to brand themselves. through this partnership. And that makes it easier for one company, a brand, to be able to partner up with another individual player as their own brand, so they can differentiate between the two, and that they're in support of each other. They're in a partnership, or they're in a sponsorship, and they can see it clearly through the branding. And you can just clearly distinguish between the brands. And honestly, you can expect to see more sponsorship and a lot more corporate partnerships as a result of all this in the near future. Mostly because it's just going to increase in popularity overall.